Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. And today I've decided to make a video on a question I get asked a lot, and that is, what is a horse stride and how do you count them? So a horse stride is the big step that the horse is taking with its inside leg or outside, but usually it's being inside because that'd be your lead that you're going on. And that is this leg that you can see in this video that's going a lot further out than the other leg, and that is its right leg. And what that is every step we call a stride. And strides are only called strides when you're cantering or galloping. They are not strides if you're just trotting or walking. I think one of the biggest misconceptions about strides is that people think that they're only strides when they're in a line. And this is what we call a line here, and that is when two jumps are set up no matter how far. Strides can happen when you're just cantering around, when you're just galloping around, but we also have to count in strides coming up to our fences. So in a lot of these videos that are muted, but a lot of times my trainers will count me in. They'll go 1, 2, 3, and before the jump here is 1, 2, and that was 2, but usually you do 1, 2, 3.
9.
And
One,
here, right
two,
here, right here.
three.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, lovely.
And that's when you can count your strides in, and these should be 3 even strides coming up to your fence. And a lot of people think, oh, this is when I should adjust my horse, but no, right here is when I'm adjusting Fern. That is right after my turn, I'm adjusting him, and those last three strides are not the time to say go or whoa or lengthen or shorten your stride. That should have already been done after your turn. And I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions is that you should adjust in those 3 steps, and that strides only happen in lines, and strides are always happening when you're cantering or galloping. It's just a matter of fact if you're striding to a jump or a pull, but you do have to adjust in lines and in bounces. You need to collect or lengthen. It just really depends, and over time you'll begin to learn how to look for a stride. I'm not always perfect. No one's always perfect. I mean, professionals are, but maybe. No one's ever always perfect. It's really hard to always hit your spots on when you're still learning, but so now I'm going to be talking about how to count strides in your line, and I also will sometimes count out loud when I'm in the line, and I will also count in my head when I'm in a line. But basically, if it's at home, you probably already know how many strides your horse needs to have in this line, or at least if you set it up, your trainer set it up, they've counted out how many strides. And this could be varying from the size of the horse and the size of the horse's stride. But Fern does a regular horse's stride, so at shows, you kind of will school and realize how many strides that is, so yeah. But at shows, you always want to hit your same strides in each line, or not really each line, but if there's 2 strides that are each 5 strides, and there's 2 strides that are each 6 strides, you want to make sure you hit 2 5 strides in those 2 5 strides lines, or you want to hit 2 6 strides in the 2 6 strides lines. But also, if you have a smaller horse or a bigger horse, for example, if you want to add a stride, for Franklin, if I'd add a stride, I would hit the 2 5s, and that would be 2 6s, and then I'd hit the 2 6s, and that would be 2 7s. So it doesn't matter if you add the stride or take out a stride as long as it's even. First, I'm going to use this line to explain, because I feel like it's a really good line for me to show you guys what I'm talking about, and then I'll show you guys some other lines. But basically, for this line, so initially you have your 3 strides, and then you don't count that landing stride, and this line is actually an 8 strides. So I'm going to explain the landing stride and count out the strides with you guys. So 1, 2, 3, and then that landing stride you don't count. So this is your landing stride, and you don't count that. The step after your landing stride is the first step you start counting. So this line is an 8 stride, like I said before. So you would not count that landing stride, and then now you start counting. Okay, so it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's how it's supposed to look, and that's how you're supposed to count strides. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I really hope you guys learned something helpful about striding and strides in general. And Thank you again for watching, and I really hope this helps you and you enjoyed. See you guys next time. Bye!